performances of the ADC party, as well as the performance of the obedient movement, and the performance of the candidates themselves, as the performance of the vote guard app that was deployed by them. It is on this note I welcome you to tonight's discourse, and thank you for joining. Let's take this one. There was pre-election screening candidates, as well as other issues along the line, elections for the election proper. But having gone through this election, and from the backdrop of the assurances that are provided by the ADC on grounds of securing of votes, on grounds of preparedness, fund the agents, how did the ADC World Chairman fare? Did they meet up with the obligations? As what actually went wrong in this election? And when you look back to see, who are you going to blame? Are you going to blame the APC for doing what they are perpetually inclined to do, which is rigging? Or you're going to blame the APC as a party, the ADC as a party, where there are various leadership in the party, and they were nowhere to be found at the coalition center. I mean, come to think about it, this is supposed to be a coalition. All party leaders are supposed to be involved at this election. This is as good as state government elections. Elections of the Area Council, the FCT, where there is no sitting government, is supposed to be treated as a gubernatorial elections. Yet, it was handled with all levity. At the various coalition centers, the World Coalition Center, to the LGA Coalition Center, and even the FCT Coalition Center, where were the party leaders? Where were they? Were they found to be on ground? Were they available at these coalition centers? Were they involved in monitoring? Were they involved in monitoring their respective agents that they have assigned to be involved in this whole assignment? These are some of the issues that are going to be taking a look at, of the performances of the party, the performances of the obedient movement, the performances of the ADC as a party, the performance of INEC, the performance of the vote guard app that was deployed. There are a lot of issues. One, starting from the party angle, going into an election where you are having court case of replacement of candidates, 2 weeks to election. Are you planning to fail or planning to pass? That is one problem that we could not manage. Going to court, trying to replace candidates has its adverse effects on the outcome of this election. We cannot shy away from that. Two, the world chairman that provided these agents had this source for them. How much on their characters to be able to perform, to be able to stand and defend the party and the whole units. Apologies, I was shut out at some point due to network problem. So, like I was saying, the party has failed to provide the required number of agents. And the ward chairmen in particular have failed in their recruitment pattern of these agents. Also, there were allegations of some ward chairmen not releasing funds meant for these agents. As a result, some agents stayed away from the polling units. These are all different layers of failure. And somebody has to be held responsible for this. On this note, I welcome you tonight to be part of this discussion. Please feel free to unmute and give your own assessments of the outcome of the FCT Area Council election. We are taking a look at how the party failed, how the candidates failed, how the obedient movement failed, and as well, taking an assessment of INEC as a body meant to conduct credible election in Nigeria. Then we're also taking a look at the Vote Guard app, which many were not aware of because of the deliberate attempts of the party not to allow members to sign up on this Vote Guard app. Because in the event that there was 100% sign up on the Vote Guard app, the situation we had when we're contemplating on whether we won or we lost wouldn't have been there at the time of the conclusion of the elections, because the Vote Guard app was meant to upload results in real time, which will have cleared any iota of doubts. Imagine if all the polling units have uploaded their results in real time from all the polling units. As soon as the election is concluded, you have your result, and no bagger can dare rig your election. But when we're saying that people did not really found the need to follow that route, just 2 days to election, we're still struggling and signing up people on this Vote Guard app. If they had all signed up about a month ago that we're having this discussion, then we'll not be here where we are today. We'll have known genuinely if we lost or if we win. Please, you're welcome to the conversation. It's an interactive session taking a look at what transpired at the polls, the FCT poll, and what we need to do going forward, because that was an unexpected failure. It was massive failure on the part of everyone involved at the election, starting from the party, the candidates, the obedient movement. Imagine obedient movement waiting for transportation allowance before they can go and protest votes. That's a slap. That shows an error on the part of those recruiting these obedient movement stakeholders in the FCT. Yes. So please unmute and speak. Let's have a collaborative engagement.
Good evening, due process.
Yeah, good evening, NHL Jefferson.
Thank you for this privilege this night once again. You utter a statement just of recent. You said the ADC failure was maybe unforeseen. I will categorically tell you it's not unforeseen, it foreseens, because 3 days to the election, I was discussing with my wife and my 2 other friends where we hang out. I was telling them that ADC is going to lose woefully in that election. In the sense is this: the proper planning are not there. Except if we were deceiving ourselves. It's just like what happens in Labour Party, that we lose to APC during the presidential election. Exactly the same pattern happens on Saturday. I don't know the caliber of people that are handling these affairs of this system, that they just think you go into an election without fully prepared strategic planning being put in place in such election. The only saddening things was for me was Dr. Mo, the way he lose. I believe he should be the man on that position. My joy was to see him being in the chairmanship position of that mark. But fortunately, he didn't lose because of his own personality, but he lose because of the party that he was. If he were to be in PDP, I can guarantee you today that he will have been on that seat. Yes. But the fact is this, ADC are not yet prepared as an opposition or a strong opposition that will counter all these strategic plans that APC are always putting in place ahead of elections. I yield my mic for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jefferson, for that feedback. It corroborates with the fact that the ADC has not actually come to the realization of the need to match the APC in our own game. You don't go as an opposition in Nigeria, you don't go for an area of weakness, you go for an area of strength. When I was asking repeatedly, what's the plan? My own area was concentration on the Vote Guard app, which I focused on it and were able to deliver. Them delivered the Vote Guard app. As a matter of fact, we're able to come up with super admin accounts that could upload results from all the polling units in the event that, for one reason or the other, agents are unable to upload directly from their own polling units. So these super accounts can move around each ward. They were dedicated to each ward, right? So they could move around and still upload the results. So we had multi-layer arrangement of how to achieve this results upload. But at the end of the day, we were disappointed by the arrangement of the ADC. We were disappointed woefully. They could not provide agents. As a matter of fact, no security arrangements. I mean, so much went behind the scenes that I cannot start explaining, but it was just a woeful outing. We're not prepared. We're not prepared. You don't go into a contest against thieves. The thieves in the APC, you don't go against contest with them unprepared. You should go into a contest with them having your security arrangement, your independent security arrangement, having infiltrated the security apparatus that are available in the government angle, and having all these arrangements put in place. Then you can be sure of securing your votes. Aside from having agents, having monitors to monitor these agents, having multi-layer arrangement on how to secure these votes and ensure voter turnout. There were massive voter apathy. Yes, people could not come out. So when APC realized this, they started using the polling units where people did not even come out at all, and they mutilate the number, right? They change the figures. We started seeing in the afternoon 300 people voted in a polling unit. How? In a polling unit where there are barely 5 persons. In the morning, in the evening, you are hearing that 300 people voted in the same polling unit. What was the miracle? Of course, the APC miracle. We're not prepared for that, right? We failed. And somebody has to take responsibility for this failure. I, for one, I was expecting all the leadership of the ADC to occupy all the collation centers. But where were they? Everybody is busy fighting chairman of this, chairman of that. But when it comes to the actual work of those positions you are fighting for, you were nowhere to be found. Please, more conversations, more contributions are welcome. Feel free to unmute and speak.
Good evening, due process, and good evening, everybody on this call. Can you hear me? Please confirm that you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Okay. So I think it's more of what you have said. ADC went into the contest unprepared. That is the simple truth. Because from the early hours of the election, there were escalations that there were numerous polling booths where there were no agents. And one will wonder, considering the importance of this election, which everybody is aware of, why would that be that there will be a single polling unit, that there will be no agent? Then the question will now be, what was the level of preparation? Was it just that the candidates and every other person were just busy jumping about town without making adequate preparation for the election day proper, which has always been the case. Even in the era of Labour Party and the obedience, that's always been the case. You do a lot of social media campaign, make a lot of noise around, and on the election day, you hardly find anybody at the polling unit as agents. Not to talk of canvassers, not to talk of security. So you begin to wonder what is actually the focus. Where was it? Was it that they prepared to fail the election because everybody was conscious? Even we at COPDEM made every effort to see how we can support. Don't forget that even at the situation room, we keep hammering and keep reiterating the essence for them to bring out these agents, for them to upload the vote guard app, so that we'll be sure that everybody is prepared. Now, if you have polling units where there were no agents, how do you not expect to even apply the vote guard app in those polling units? It's actually a not workable arrangement now, because for the vote guard app to be effective, we need to have agents in all the polling units, and this was emphasized. So one would have expected that those anchor ward men had actually gone out to ensure that ensure that agents are all positioned in all the polling units at least. Then the issue of remuneration will also come in. What was the arrangement? Because people have come to lose confidence in the system. That's the simple truth. Don't forget that during the presidential election in 2023, a lot of people worked without being paid. So people are conscious of this. So if you are set to win election and you are really serious to win election, at least beyond making sure that agents are on ground, you should also go ahead to ensure that at least make a commitment payment to confirm to these guys that yes, you are serious about taking care of them. Make a confirmed payment. If it is 40% of the payment or 50% of the payment, give to them. Make provision for refreshment for them. So there's some level of seriousness on your own part. I assure you they will all go out and work. But a situation where you are telling somebody to go to the field, you have not made provision for his transportation. You have not given him anything to use for feeding, knowing very well that this man is going to be out all day and even beyond, because you might have a situation where he might even follow the result to the collation center, in which case it might be out day and night, and you want him to go with empty stomach. Who does that? So these are all the issues that should be taken into consideration on a very, very serious note. Okay, going forward, because we have already lost this. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder John, for that very strategic advice. We've always emphasized it. It was just clearly lack of preparations. There was no preparations. There was no anticipatory thinking as to how to prevent any form of rigging. There was no anything in that regard. Everybody was just busy moving around, enjoying the moments of the campaigning, taking selfie with His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, without knowing what else they need to be doing on their own. I mean, it's unbelievable that the entire number of people roaming around His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, roaming around Dr. Moses Paul, were nowhere to be found on the polling units. These are the people that ought to be defending the polling units. So there was a disconnect. There is a problem in that regard, and we need to fix that going forward. As a matter of fact, depending on the ADC for any futuristic elections to provide you agents is failure waiting to happen. This scene will definitely repeat itself, except the spirit of the obedient movement that we started with, the support groups that initially came together doing their things on their own, are revived. If we don't revive these able-bodied, volunteering individuals that came together doing their things, trying to rescue their country under the guise of obedient movement, if we don't get them pulled back to take charge and take over the obedient movement, we are going to fail in futuristic elections. Because the current crop of people that are there are looking for somebody to give them transportation. How can you be obedient and you are waiting for somebody to mobilize you before you defend the polling unit in your backyard? I mean, it doesn't sound logical. It shows that the recruitment process, that is, if these people are actually there, the recruitment process is faulty. We have to go back to the drawing board and hand over the obedient movement to the original owners, the original designers that came together organically to form the obedient movement. Because what we have currently has failed, it has failed, right? It has failed. And there's no two ways about it. The obedient movement has failed because the obedient movement in its original design is not supposed to wait for a political party to do what he or she is expected to do. That's the spirit. Cobden, for instance, we took our initiative, came up with an app, started onboarding agents on this vote guard app. We did not wait for ADC to tell us to do so because we believe in the project. We felt this is our own contribution that we should bring to the table. But for obedient movement, saying they are waiting to be mobilized before they can go to the poll, I found it to be embarrassing. It's unfortunate. Please, we need more contribution. Give your assessments on what transpired at the FCT election. So far, I only heard of one female, which is from Kabusa Council, that scaled through. Every other person, no way. I don't know if there could be more, but this is the only one I can confirm from the ADC that won in Kabusa Ward Councilor. Every other part. So what were they doing? You know, please, we need more contribution.
Good evening. I don't know if you can hear me. Due process. I'm seeing somebody's hand up, but I can't. Yeah, okay, I can't see where to raise my hands. I know Oyeni is raising his hand. Okay, so thank you so much, due process. I know you from air.
You don't be familiar with
Yes.
Twitter, so you know that for the
Yes, I know you do, Precious. Thank you for all you're doing with them. So me, I'm gonna come from another angle, and the reason why I'm coming from this angle is that everything everybody said is valid, but I think we should also understand that there was the angle of the APC where they rigged and used TPEX exactly in 2023. They've done the same thing times two because it's not possible that there are 200 people in a polling unit and the result is 1,212 that APC gave their candidate. So I understand that there was problem with agents, but also on some of the group that I'm in, most people complained that they actually gave some agents money, I think up to 5 different agents, an amount of money, and these people actually ran away with the money and they were nowhere to be found on ground. So at the same time, even though the mobilization of agents was not what we expected, we should understand that some agents were compromised. I believe by APC, where the APC people give them more money to, is it abscond or change results or just do whatever business as usual they did at the polling unit. So I want us to understand that yes, we can do better going forward in 2027, but at the same time, at least being part of Dr. Mo's media team, I think that more can still be done, and we did our best, at least to a certain level. And even with the distribution of the money for the agents, because on X I'm seeing this narrative that um, Mo did not pay people, Mo did not even pay the agents, or he got contributions, he didn't pay them. I want to actually get people to understand that, at least from what I'm seeing on ground and on the WhatsApp groups, I'm seeing that some agents did not, do their work at the polling unit, the ones that were mobilized. So I just wanted to end it there that, ADC too has its own part to play, in the sense that yes, due process, you said that obedient movement is meant to fund themselves, not wait for the party. At the same time, we can't do everything. We expected more from the ADC leadership. Yeah, they helped in campaign, but at least to understand that it's APC we're going against, we need everybody, because some members, some camps, they were like, is an obedient thing. They just made it look like, it's just more. And I'm happy that thank God that Atiku came out to campaign to show that everybody's involved. But some supporters, it's almost like they didn't participate. It was an obedient thing. So I yield here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. In order to buttress it further, some ward chairmen actually held back these funds, right, meant for agents. And for what reason? They got bought over. Summarily, for us to make progress and be able to rescue Nigeria, we cannot depend on any party agents. In Hausa language, they call them Kaswanchi. Kaswanchi means people that are in for buying and selling, right? So we had hoped and expected that the candidates, as well as the Bida movement in general, should have been able to set up independent agents, not depending on the party, because anything coming from the party for you on election day is bound to fail as opposition in Nigeria, because they are purely going to sell you out for the highest bidder. Imagine 3 persons were being bought with 100,000 naira during the polls. What do you expect? Right? But if this recruitment pattern was done through the movement, there is disconnect that we should not betray ourselves at this point. And they will have been able to deliver. Right? These are people that are doing one thing or the other on their own, then giving them that commitment and say, okay, please man the polling unit for the party to succeed. They will have done this graciously. I understand about 1,000 tags, agent tags were issued out to the leader of the Obida movement, and the complaint was that there is no logistic for this for this agent cards to have gone around and mobilizing these obedience to man their respective polling units. I don't understand. That's my pain. I find it difficult to understand why an obedient would expect to be mobilized to be able to man the polling unit in his backyard or in his neighborhood where he could easily trek. Right? So there are so many things that went wrong. As a matter of fact, going into 2027, there have to be holistic redrafts of starting from the movement, from the way we do our politics and everything. Everything has to be reviewed because we cannot win against the APC using the same format of 2023, using this same format that failed us in this FCT election. We cannot use the same. There have to be a review. We have to go back to the drawing board and see where we failed and how do we do it better. It's very important at this point. Thank you. So do we need more contribution? Do we have more contributions on the subject matter, please? We'll be rounding up by 7:50. I have it in mind, so please let's bring in a contribution and have a collaborative engagement.
Good evening, everyone. I remain my humble self, Oyeniyi Adeniyi Oluwaseun from Kwara State. Recently, I've been studying a lot about, because that Saturday I was online, I was watching a lot, I was following the election back to back, and I saw a lot of things, and there are a lot of things I saw in the APC, and there were a lot of things I saw in the ADC. And recently, for like 1 week now, I've been studying about political parties in Nigeria, that is different political parties, the strength of the APC, the strength of the PDP, and even ADC. And as it stands now, honestly, ADC has a lot of work to do, to be sincere, because I am not going to be a praise singer. I'm going to say it as it is. If you want to win in 2027, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
go ahead. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you. I
Okay.
think Igos is having connection issues.
All right. So there is a lot of work to put in place in terms of the youth wing of the party, because honestly, if we are going to go for as a party, we need to recruit more youth into the party. Then also, a situation whereby we don't even have our own situation room where we can even be looking at the results. We don't even have people who are doing research for us. I think ADC should have a research team Like people, like they should assemble highly intellectual people who can come together, who can do some research for them. They need these people, like they need more of youth who can bring in development into the party, because whether we like it or not, if APC is ready, when I say ready, I mean they are ready to win this election. And I'm not seeing any way in which ADC is ready for this election. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Oyemi, because our host has lost connection. So I actually hope he comes back. But please, if anybody wants to contribute, they should feel free. I think for this thing you said, this suggestion rather, yes, I think we already even have we have the youth wing already. Okay, our host is here. We have the youth wing in ADC with the Mbalarabe, Jackie, and even the support groups, which is even as good as the leadership. The support groups do a lot. I know so many
But
ADYC,
the thing is,
chapter, and different ones.
All
but the thing
right.
is, even if they
Thank
are
you.
working, what are they doing?
Um,
What are they doing?
Oyeni,
Because I know, yes, sir.
please, there is one thing I want us to know this evening. They have what it takes. I must confess to you, it's not that ADC did not have the hands to do the job. They have what it takes to do the job. I think this election was deliberately handled by ADC just this way. It was quite unfortunate that you see them, the manners and their actions even shows it. How did the seriousness they put in place, how far is this seriousness? That is for you to know. On before this election, when you see people who are ready to win an election going into such election, their preparations will tell you. Nobody needs to prophesy. You should be able to know. But I'm not talking. He's gone already. And I don't want to emphasize much on this election because they take it as a mere local government election. That is the reason why they don't take it. Let me just put it that way. But coming to the presidential election and other gubernatorial election upcoming, I personally think there are some set of things that needs to be put in place, such like depending on the obedient movement to do some magic for them this time around is a no, 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 no. Obedient movements are no longer the obedient movement of 2022. That is just the fact. Go and check every of these states in Nigeria today that we have obedient movement. How many of their obedient leader is functioning? That is one. How many of them have the capacity to drive what it takes as an obedient? I use Kwara, you are from Kwara State. I use Kwara for instance. How many times do we have obedient meeting in Kwara State? How do we sensitize and educate the youth that wanted to be an obedient presently? How do we carry our structures that we have in 2022? How do we manage it? So in such situation, if you bring an election to Kwara now and you said maybe they want to do any election, you are expecting your obedience to come out, you will fail woefully. Because those people you call obedient presently are no longer obedient. They are just there for the sake to take the position should in case money will come, let them use the money for their own selfish interests. Are you getting it now? So all these things now needs to be scrutinized. Due process was talking about the agent not being paid. Look, this agent that you people are even talking about, how did they train this agent before the election? What was the strategic measures put in place if the agent fails? What will be the next action that will swing in immediately on the
Senator Joseph Saide.
process of the election in the party for 3 to 4 years, understand the system of the party, and are ready to commit whatsoever that will come on that day. They are ready to sacrifice their time, their sweat, whatever they are to sacrifice, they will sacrifice it on the polling unit. But you pick somebody who is even hungry from his home, you say, my friend, come and just be our party agent for today election. If APC come, they will owe him with their money, and he or she will go. That is the problem. They need to put all this structure in place ahead of 2027 election. I must tell you, these are the exactly things I told Kwara in 2022, and they failed to do it, and we lose woefully. It's just the fact. These are the training agents that will be on presidential election should begin their training 6 months before the elections. Any agent that will be on a polling unit should begin their training 6 months to the election. How many of them? So you pick somebody 3 days to election and you expect that person to not compromise for you? No. With the situation of the country today, that person will compromise. So these things, we need to go back to our drawing board, check what we get wrong. I believe this election is an eye-opener to me personally. Is an eye-opener to us. So we should be able to go back to the drawing board, analyze these things, checkmate them. The one that we didn't get right, let's go back to the drawing board, make it right. I think that will solve the problem coming to 2027. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Jefferson. I think my own summation is that going into 2027, the role of technology has to be defined. We cannot do without technology. That is one. Then the human being that will use this technology to upload, they have to be onboarded early enough. At least 3 months to election. Every polling unit in Nigeria should be occupied with an agent that will upload these results using the VoteGuard app. And of course, the training and retraining will continue. And we'll devise other means, creating additional accounts, super accounts per state, per LGA, that will still be able to go around and upload results from any polling unit. So this is what we have to do. This is what we did for FCT. But where we were disappointed was that there was no polling unit at all to actually onboard these agents. So we have to clean up the exercise and see how to make it better. Then we ensure that the votes are duly protected. If Nigerians have the assurance that we are on ground to protect these votes, they will come out en masse to vote. I have that assurance. All that Nigerians want to know is our willingness, our readiness, our determination to protect their votes. And if we're able to do this, then I believe more Nigerians will come out to vote in 2027. And there's this belief among the masses that local government election is nothing. They don't give it attention. I mean, it's another level of governance. Why will you abandon it? We have to give it attention and ensure that we do better in subsequent outing. On this note, I will be trying to close the curtain for this conversation. Thank you for joining. Valerie, thank you for joining. And NHL Jobson, Adeni from Kwara, a number of others that are on this Zoom. Thank you all for joining. In case you still have contribution, please, you have a minute to do so. Do you have more contribution before we wrap up the program? Then on the obedient movement, I realized that since the emergence of this obedient movement, trying to create structures here and there, it has failed. It has failed. So we have to go back to the drawing board, hand over the obedient movement to the original owners of the obedient movement. Let them design the leadership by themselves, how they want it. Let the support group take charge of the obedient movement. We know how it started. It started with the POSN, the Big Tent, the CPO. These are the people that all came together. Take Back Niger. These are the groups that came together to form the obedient movement. It is high time we hand over the obedient movement to these groups to come together and decide the future of the obedient movement for themselves. We don't want obedient movement that will be following P2B up and down. We want obedient movement that will be centered on the people, going about doing their things, building their structures on their own. That is what we want, because Nigeria needs to be freed by all means possible. We cannot go to sleep. In case you don't know, we are all victims waiting to happen. And this is why we have to say things the way they are. We fail, we fail. We need to look back. How do we fix it? And that's why we are here. Thank you for joining tonight. Until we come your way another day, do have a lovely, lovely evening. And bye-bye. For me, in the studio, Mr. Ako Christian, otherwise known as Due Process. Tomorrow is yet another day. Until we come your way, do have a lovely evening. Thank you, and bye-bye. Bye.